Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from class AS120422 and in this video we are going to present our video presentation BIO320 which is Nipah virus in Malaysia.
And this is our group members: Aidy Hafizin bin Yusni, Siti Aishah Binti Abdullah, Atiiah Binti Ahmad Sukeri, and Liyana Binti Mazuki.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I will start from the introduction for Nipah virus in Malaysia. Nipah virus, or known as NIV, is a zoonotic virus, meaning that it can spread between animals and people. Nipah virus, a novel parabenzovirus closely related to Hendra virus, emerged in northern part of Peninsular Malaysia in 1998. The virus caused an outbreak of severe viral encephalitis in humans with a high mortality rate, whereas in pigs, encephalitis and respiratory diseases, but with a relatively low mortality rate. The outbreak subsequently spread to various regions of the country and Singapore in the south due to the movement of infected pigs. Nipah virus caused systemic infections in humans, pigs, and other mammals. Histopathological and radiological findings were characteristic of the disease. Fruit bats of Pteropid species were identified as the natural reservoir host. Evidence suggested that climatic and anthropogenic-driven ecological changes coupled with the location of piggeries in orchard and the design of pig sties allowed the spillover of this novel parabenzovirus from its reservoir host into the domestic pigs and ultimately to humans and other animals. The emergence of the Nipah virus in Malaysia with its subsequent spread to Singapore came as a surprise to both countries and caused both relatively unprepared. In Malaysia, it caused tremendous human suffering, especially among those involved in pig farming, excessive economic loss, and led to a near collapse of the local swine industry. The discovery of the novel virus played a major role and was a significant turning point in the control of this outbreak. The outbreak was safely brought under control with the assistance of international scientific partners.
So for now, I will explain about the transmission of Nipah virus. Nipah virus can spread to people in three ways, including direct contact with infected animals such as bats or pigs, or their body fluids including blood, urine, or saliva. Other than that, consuming food products that have been contaminated by body fluids of infected animal such as palm sap or fruit contaminated by an infected bat. Nipah virus also can spread from close contact with an infected person or their body fluids including nasal or respiratory droplets, urine, or blood. In the first known Nipah virus outbreak, people were probably infected through close contact with infected pigs. The Nipah virus strain identified in that outbreak appeared to have been transmitted initially from bats to pigs with subsequent spread within pig population. Then, people who worked closely with infected pigs began falling ill. No person-to-person transmission was reported in that outbreak. So, what is the sign and symptoms of Nipah virus? Infection with Nipah virus can cause mild to severe disease, including brain swelling, or we call it as encephalitis, and potentially death. Symptoms typically appear in 4 to 14 days following exposure to the virus. The illness initially presents as 3 to 14 days of fever and headache, and often includes respiratory illness such as cough, sore throat, and difficulty of breathing. A phase of brain swelling, or we call it as encephalitis, may follow where symptoms can include disorientation, drowsiness, and mental confusion which can cause coma within 24 to 48 hours. Death may occur in 40 to 75% of cases. Infections that lead to symptoms and sometimes death much later after exposure, known as dormant and latent infections, have also been reported months and even years after exposure.
I will proceed with the treatment for Nipah virus. So, there is no specific treatment for Nipah virus infection. There is no drug or vaccines for this disease. Only supportive care such as rest, hydration, and symptom management is used as a kind of treatment. However, there are currently being developed and tested immunotherapeutic treatments to treat Nipah virus infections. A phase 1 clinical trial for one of these monoclonal antibodies, which is M102.4, was complete and it has been applied on a case-by-case basis. Next, an antiviral medication, which is remdesivir, has also shown its effectiveness in non-human, which is primates, of the Nipah virus exposure, and may be complementary to immunotherapeutic treatments. And the last one is drug called ribavirin, was also used to treat a small number of patients in the initial Nipah virus outbreak in Malaysia. However, the efficacy of this drug in humans remains unclear. Next, is there any prevention from this virus? Yes, They are: number 1, avoid touching bats. Stay away from places where they are known to roost, and avoid eat or drink anything that might have been contaminated by bats, such as fruit that has been left on the ground or raw dead palm sap. Number 2, stay away from risky animals. When handling sick animals, wear gloves and protective equipment, and keep your distance from infected pigs. And the last one, avoid encountering somebody who is known to have Nipah virus infection. You may practice washing your hand regularly with soap and water.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For my part is I will present about conclusion. To conclude, the Nipah virus is also one of the most dangerous viruses that exist in the world. In our opinion, we need to avoid the Nipah virus by using the prevention method. They are necessary to avoid the Nipah virus because most of the cases end up with death. So, we need to practice the prevention method so that we can decrease the death cases and we can take care of ourselves. That's all from me. Thank you.
And this is our